But the real critical window is in those teenage years where we learn, it's the peak of neural plasticity,
right,
and all those experiences. So how do we make this less psychobabble for the listener? Effectively, if you look back at some of your childhood experiences where you were faced with adversity and hard stuff, I had, horrible things may have happened to me. It's not about that horrible thing. It's did you then respond in a way where you could do something about it and learn to reinterpret, the fact that you had agency. Really, really important. When we solve for our kids, we take that opportunity away.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
And you see this, I think, as well, the well-intended mistake either from the parent or from the coach that says, I know better because I've done this and I've experienced this. Therefore, I'm going to make the decision for you. And I find that baffling because it's like, what do we want our athletes to do? What do we want our children to do is they need to be able to make decisions in the moment. They need to be wonderfully decisive when it matters most. How are they going to do that in every other, like out of the water, so to say, is that we're making all the decisions for them.
Yeah. And moreover, when that emotional state is triggered, if I've learnt, this is a bad aversive thing and I can't cope, I don't have the resources, then that's when that just hijacks your ability to actually think clearly and make decisions. But yeah, I mean, Piaget got it right way back when, right? The moment you teach a kid something, you've deprived them of the opportunity to learn.
Yep. Yeah, so it's that ability, both parents and coaches, would you say, to create an environment of choice and agency? Is that what you're saying is the most important thing here?
Yeah. You must expose them to adversity, firstly.
Yeah.
The human brain, the parental brain wants to always keep our children free from harm and suffering. But in doing so, we're actually depriving them of the opportunity to develop the requisite skills. So, expose them to those challenges, but then, look for opportunities for them to develop skills of I've got some choice and control that I can enact here. And what we know is it's more about the developing brain laying down those neural pathways. That means that then when we transform into adult life and a new novel threat, adverse stimulus shows up, our same response kicks in where we're like, okay, this is a challenge that I can solve. How do I solve this challenge? Yeah.
And I have I guess, sense of self to be able to solve that. I have a higher level of self-efficacy to actually solve that. And so how would you say, would you recommend for parents to balance it out? Because there is the safety component. I'm not just going to let them take the keys at 13 and drive down to Melbourne. Like they don't have the skills, the knowledge, the awareness and everything like that. Is how do we provide environments to increase their sense of choice and agency, yet keeping it safe in that environment?
Sport. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Sport is the greatest vehicle for learning about what life throws at you, but it's in a safe, controlled environment. But allow your kids to fully experience what sport can give you. And when I mean that, I mean rejection, deselection, getting, Jimmy got put in the third grade, the bloody coach didn't. Stop saving him. Let him learn that he's not as good as his mates. Or let him learn that there's injustice in the world and maybe he is as good as his mates, but the coach genuinely didn't judge him fairly. That's a pretty powerful thing to learn. And, it goes on and on. So rejection, setback, failure, learning that you've got to be, a good teammate and not and live up to certain expectations, whatever. I love sport for the vehicle it can be for giving kids that opportunity for, tasting what life throws at you. And then secondly, it can be a wonderful vehicle for nurturing the parent-child relationship.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we see too much of the inverse, right? It's, I don't want dad to come and watch me play anymore. I hate the car ride home because, all that stuff. And that's where, we've got to be really careful around the harm that can be done, well-intentioned mistakes, but the harm. Parents protecting kids too much and depriving them of learning their own journey. as well as the deterioration of the parent-child relationship through the usual overbearing, talking too much, coaching, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's it. What's your role?
Yeah, exactly.
What's your role as a parent?
Yep. But yeah, so to your question, sport, I can't see a reason why you wouldn't throw your kids in lots of sport to have that opportunity for actually exposure to the tough. We always think, oh, sport's great. They can get fit, get strong, learn to make friendships. Of course, that's great stuff. But I look at sport and think, what an awesome cocktail of hardship and setback and failure. And, when your kid misses that kick and they lose the game, like, yeah, he's allowed or she's allowed to feel that pain. Let them feel that pain.
And that's life.
Right.
To deprive them of that opportunity to have a sense of agency through the pain and the disappointment is not acknowledging the reality of life. And then is participation. Yeah. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Let's just give every kid a participation award because they did the thing.
Yeah, you'll have to get me in for another podcast when it comes to that that idea that we need to somehow rescue people from those things, right?